Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. So this morning I was flipping through on the tube and I saw the great brother Dr. Cornel West, and he was uh, doing a lecture at one of the major universities, and it caught my attention because he was saying and speaking about those same things that are common amongst all of us, we the people. And I wanted to hear what he was saying in relationship to the same things that I say. But what I really saw was something else. I saw him doing what most of us do. We find ourselves out there speaking out, identifying situations, explaining these situations to the depths from where we have our perspective. And it is clear to some more than others, but it's real, as real can be. But I saw him speaking to the people. And then I saw myself speaking as I do to you. What are we really doing? If we give it some thought, we are really trying to inspire someone else. We're trying to inspire somebody else who has a different purpose in the role of life to do something about what is going on. In reality, we have relegated ourselves to the position of the town crier. We identify the problems, and if we have some solution, we can even articulate that. But for the most part, we are speaking to get some action started, and that's the truth that I think most of us have to recognize. And at the same time, I think that most of us who can speak these truths, we understand to a depth that perhaps those who we're speaking to might not. And so it is more or less, as I can see it, incumbent upon us who can speak out to others to not just speak out, but get out front and start calling people out to be with you as you take the necessary steps to make this thing more advantageous for the goals for which we seek. You know, I just saw myself thinking about stuff like that, and I thought I'd share that with you. I was also thinking about these guys, these geniuses, these guys who are so smart all over the earth, all over the earth. Guys who got so much information about so many things, all kinds of things. You name it, they got information. You got experts, you got really geniuses. Not everybody, but you got some. And there are those who are not as smart as others, but they got enough information to walk that path or to follow that path, or even go down in the wilderness sometime and draw people into that path. But at the same time, everybody got something to do. Everybody. And so I'm thinking about you and what your role might be, or do you know what your role is? And I'm saying, when I look out at what's going on in our society to determine what roles are calling for people, and I'm telling you, it is absolutely despicable. Regardless of how many geniuses we have, how many smart people we have, the crisis exists, the problems exist, and they don't seem to be going anyplace. In fact, it appears as if we've run out of things to do. And so now we have started to repeat back when. And this is a challenge offered to those who did not enjoy the back when to respond to this challenge of today. And how would you respond to it? And I'm saying the speeches that are being made, are they out asking for somebody, how does this to be made? How is this to be made? I understand, my friends, that as smart as people can be, you think about me, I don't even rank with any of those guys. The university will never call me to come and lecture anywhere. Very few churches will even do that. So I'm grateful for this medium. At least I can do this, and you can flip it off or don't even turn it on. But at least this is what I can do, but I can do more. All I got to do is follow these messages that I'm giving to you with steps. See, when it comes down to that being out there, I'm like a drop of sand on the beach. I'm just out there. You'll never identify me. I'm just out there, though. I mean, all of us just like wondering. You could never say the sand on the beach if we weren't there. And yet and still, you would never be able to identify me amongst those. So what I'm saying is that the message that I bring is the message that I've been given to bring. I'm just doing my duty. You've heard all kind of excuses for why we're still here. We've heard people who have been renowned and honored for the things that they did to try to lift us up and bring us to a place where we need to be. And we truly honor those because we are here because of that. And is that a good thing, a bad thing? We will really know. We will not really know until a given time. And it doesn't seem to me that that time is right now. Nevertheless, the call is there. And those people who gave their lives, they said it meant freedom for them to give up their lives for the right of other people to live, for the right of other people to live. And at the same time, we've had a philosophy of life, about life, that goes two ways, one against the grain. And everybody wants the same, and yet believing that it's different ways to get it, and those ways work against each other. So it's a Ponzi thing that's going on, ladies and gentlemen. But I come to you and I say, the message that I bring to you, many of you might ask, what gives me the bodaciousness to stand before you and say these kinds of things? Especially when I speak against sometimes the scripture or the word. I don't speak against the spirit. I don't speak against the truth. I speak against a lie. And what I say to you is this. I say these things to you because if I were God in certain matters of our lives, our human experience, I know what I would do. As God, the true God, I have no understanding about the creation of earth. I have no understanding about nothing outside of that. But this human experience, I recognize how it's supposed to work. I recognize how peace and prosperity and freedom and these things work. I understand that. Most people, for some strange reason, pretend as if they don't, and if they do, they are bought by something else, a fear of something else. And to them, it's legitimate enough for them to be bound by it. And while I can say it is an oppressive thing and denies the reality of the beautifulness of life for so many people, I still have to recognize the fact that that's them and that's where they came. And we have to deal with that as it really is. If it does not cause pain, if it does not cause violence to anyone else, it could be accepted, because this is the whole thing about life. And as one who says to you that I call God as I see God in relationship to the human experience, I can see God planning all of the resources on the face of the earth that we as human beings will ever need to accomplish our ends. I can see God doing that. That's the same old God that made this earth and loved all of us. I can see that God, having done that, make all of us requiring some of these essentials for our survival. I can see that. No problem with that, because it's real. Not only that, I can see us who have these desires being equipped with something that has been given to us that motivates us to reach out and find those things that we love doing, engage ourselves in, and choose what it means to us, if it means enough for us to choose that as a career to do it. And as we do that, we engage ourselves in the process of creating all of these things that God had made it possible for us to be able to do to satisfy that which is essential for our survival. God did all that. That's God. That's where I see God. That's where I see God. In seeing God like that, I see that every human being on the face of earth who benefits from these things have just a natural role to play in the process. So that means everybody got a job. Everybody got a career. But I see God as being special. So he makes it set up in such a way that the careers that we choose is like going to a party. Every day, like going to a party. And each day a new party. That's the way I see God. And that's the way I see God's effect on we as individuals and our role in participating in the joys of life. And in so doing that, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize from that, I do, because I see it from God, that in this reservoir of goods and services, there will be such an abundance that the barns can't contain it, that the reservoirs will overflow, and that there will be such an amass that those of us will have access to everything that we need to be satisfied on this earth, including, but not limited to, food and clothing. I'm saying it again, shelter and education and health care and transportation and the infrastructure and anything that humankind can imagine and find themselves putting their hands to and causing a manifestation thereof. And it's there to meet the needs, the wants, and the desires of the people at their leisure, that they may want, need, or be denied anything. Now, this is the way I see God. And that through doing this, we would achieve and live a life with peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and happiness and our dreams coming true. I see that. Plain as daylight. Plain as daylight. Plain as daylight. Now, since I see that, I also see what's happening in relationship to that. We have, as I see it, and I can agree with it 100%, been given choice. While I have just described to you that magnificent life that works for everybody on the face of the earth, there are those that want more. First of all, they deny the existence of a real God. Whether they know it or not, they deny it. And by denying it, they get a chance to advocate for that to a group of people who will never ever believe that there's a God, because they've been taught this, that there is no God. Except who has been staged as the God, and who has amassed a kind of fear-mongering that would keep people in line. First of all, they know that people have these natural desires, and so they don't deny the manifestation of these. They just own them and control them and manipulate them and determine who gets them and how much they get and when they get, by what? The money, the amount of money they got available to them, which is a tool used to keep them tied to the systems of the world. And the systems of the world exist because it started in the beginning when the people did what we are doing. They refused to represent. We refuse to represent. The representation of today. They're calling on people to give up all of what you have considered a democracy or republic or whatever you want to call it. Give it all up. And what is it all for? They got you thinking, the people who are ready to lie, cheat, and steal and do anything, they got you believing that this is to give you power, to keep you in power, because everything else is coming at you. And you must maintain power. You must remain in power. And to do that, you are willing to drop an atomic bomb all over the earth just to maintain their power, because you've been lied to. You've been deceived in such a way that this is something that is open to you. And if you have to maintain your power, you'll take a chance on maybe living after the bomb. But you darn sure are not going to give it up. So you got people like that. You got people who are willing to do anything. So these are the people, my friends, who have said there's no God, except they will control and manipulate. And this is the thing about killing you. And you got people who have said, well, I don't want to die. So whatever message I bring to you, whatever truth I understand, I'm going to have to water it down to such a way I can feel comfortable that I've given you enough of the message to say that I was genuine, and yet I've given you I denied enough of the message to save myself from the thrones of the spear. And agreed, because it allows you to keep on stepping on, wondering, dreaming, century after century, dreaming. Now, if there were any real human beings in America or on this globe, they would stand up and recognize that everything that's going on across this globe, some of it is better than others, some of it is worse than others. When people are being killed and manipulated and murdered because they don't want to fall in line, that is, as far as I can see, as worse as evil can get. The next is when you are doing those kinds of things that drive people to the point that they don't want to fall in line. That's as next as evil can get. And so we have a lot of that happening all over the globe. We have it all happening. So in effect, we just, everybody going along with everything we call evil. We just going along. But person who knows the truth won't do that. Those who have come before us who knew the truth and stood up are dead. They were murdered. They were martyred. I'm telling you one more time, ladies and gentlemen, those that came before us who stood up for truth and were murdered and were martyred, they were telling us that the message that they advocated is 100% true, 100% real. Now, we don't know that, but it is. And what they were also telling you, that unless you are willing to lay down this, I don't know what they call it, unless you're willing to give it up, you're going to stay with it. You're not going to turn anything loose unless it slings you outside of the border. You're going to hang with it because that's all you know to do. But this is your choice. Your choice. And once you make this choice, you have been given instruction that you shall reap what you sow, that the seed that you plant determines the fruit you're going to get. Put your hand in the fire, it's going to burn. You mess over somebody, it's coming back to you. So the message is, the people who lay down their lives, that's love. That's an expression of love. I'm not going to take your life to force you to believe in God. I will allow you to take my life to show you how much I believe in God. Now, you see the difference in the message? One of them causes bull. The other one causes heaven. So, my friends, wherever you are today, this is a political season. And you got in America some of the most evil. Now, this stuff is not really new. It's just really being highlighted. Like the sun shining on me right now. I need some other glasses on. It's being shined on. I mean, it's being exposed. I mean, the masses of evilness, how it's been infested in America all along, and how simple one person can come along talking evil, and you can just see one person talking evil and really standing up for evil. Just like those martyrs who standing up for rights, for righteousness, that were martyred. This dude come along talking about evil, and they want to put him back in the White House again as the ruler of the nation. And people of color, you think that they should be determining whether you should have voters' rights? I figure that if anybody got any rights, everybody got a right. In fact, I believe and I would advocate that from now on, the democracy says to everybody, one person, one vote, none of that other bull. One person, one vote. And you got to say in anything that affects your life. One person, one vote. And the policies that will be generated by the government system based upon what the people have determined and will determine is that nothing that will cause pain and suffering will be acceptable as far as the policy of this nation. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. New day. New day. God taking control. God can show you how to fix this stuff. They're talking about a recession and the pain that's going to come from it. All you got to do is everybody that's working, keep working. Those who don't have a job, find a place and start working. Keep the production going, the food, the clothing, the education, the healthcare, everything. Keep it going, keep it going. They say in recessions, they keep it going, keep it going. If they say we can't pay for it, get out and let's write down on the body line. Do like they do when you get a loan. They just put it in on the computer, boop, boop, boop. So all of this just put on the paper, boop, boop, boop. And we'll do this as long as required to maintain. And if some point in time with the recession, say, well, there was no recession, we saved it. We saved from the recession. And at that time, you might see how smoothly things flow, that you might want to just keep this in process. Or if not, you still got a chance to go back, but you can be guaranteed that you will be back. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I've said enough. I had taken some notes, and I really didn't. I got down here money rules, money controls. Whoever got money, who don't, got to follow. I was thinking about what somebody said about, we will not defund the police. We will not defund the FBI. And they mean that from the bottom of their heart. But they don't have that same kind of fervor when they start talking about we will make sure that there's no poverty existing. We're going to clear that up. No, they can't say that, see. And I'm not going to go there because I just got through explaining all of that. So, was there anything else? What are we living for? That was the question of the day. What are we living for? Are we living for a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, a good night's sleep, a good television movie, to repeat that same thing the next day? And if you're lucky, they say lucky, you might get a little bit of sex that night. Is that what we're living for? I repeated that over and over again, every day for 50 years. Is that what we're living for? Is that all that life means to us? All right, go get a little money so we can maintain this. Maybe put on a three-piece suit, have a nice car to ride in, and go out, and you know what we do when we do that. Is that what we're living for? Just think about what we could be doing if we were doing what we want to be doing. Oh man, I'm not going to even tell you. I want you to imagine that. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying good day.